how many men are you gonna have to hang to heal your scar? I've already been there, Judge. In your wagon and in that hole you call a jail.
Clint Eastwood is one of the most lasting and unwavering stars of Hollywood. The man whose tough look and no-nonsense attitude have defined American movies for more than 6 decades, from his early days as the man with no name, to his famous films as a director. Eastwood has made a name for himself as the perfect professional, someone who values getting things done quickly, honestly, and without too much drama. In an industry where endless retakes and artistic indecision are common, his famous philosophy of one take, move on, has become legendary. But underneath this calm exterior lies an artist with strong opinions about his craft and little patience for those who don't agree with his ideas about how movies should be made. He was in a mood at the time and said, "I don't want to do any more violent pictures, I'm tired of it, I've been involved with a lot of them." He says, during his long and successful career, Eastwood has worked with other artists whose personalities and approaches to the art of film have been very different from his own simple way of thinking. These disagreements weren't just personal, they went to the heart of what it means to act and tell a story. The tensions show interesting details about the different generations of Hollywood talent and the schools of thought that have shaped American cinema. They show that even among legends, creative differences can run deep. These professional rivalries and philosophical disagreements give us a unique look into the exclusive world of Hollywood's elite, where artistic vision and personal temper often clash in spectacular fashion. Dustin Hoffman. The fight between Clint Eastwood and Dustin Hoffman shows one of Hollywood's biggest philosophical divides. It was a fight between the minimalist actor and the method actor, and it would define how each of them did their job in the early 1970s, when they were both at the top of their game. Industry insiders often saw the tension between Eastwood's intuitively economical style and Hoffman's intensive psychologically driven preparation. According to veteran casting director Marion Dougherty, who worked with both legends, the two men were at the complete opposite ends of the acting universe. Eastwood believed that less is more, while Hoffman believed that more preparation leads to deeper truth. The tension was especially clear when both actors were being considered for the same high-profile projects throughout the decade. Film Comment magazine said that Eastwood once dismissed method acting as self-indulgent nonsense that got in the way of honest storytelling, while sources close to Hoffman said he saw Eastwood's style as cinematically limited and emotionally shallow. Afterwards, Sidney Pollack, who worked closely with Hoffman, said in a magazine article that the actor often complained about what he saw as Eastwood's simplistic portrayal of complicated characters. Their main disagreement wasn't just about technique, it was about how they should act in general. Eastwood liked being spontaneous and trusting his gut. Hoffman required a lot of practice time and psychiatric research into what drove his character. This difference in beliefs made them both skeptical of each other as professionals, and it lasted throughout their careers. Eastwood is said to have told a fellow director, "Some actors think they need to become the character. I just need to be myself and let the character come through." Sean Penn. There was friction between Clint Eastwood and Sean Penn because they were from different generations and had very different personalities. They also had very different ways of acting and behaving professionally on film sets. Empire magazine said that Penn's reputation for soaring anger and unbending artistic standards were very different from Eastwood's controlled, methodical approach to filmmaking. During the 1980s and 1990s, Penn's passionate support for political causes and his sometimes explosive behavior clashed with Eastwood's preference to keep personal beliefs separate from professional duties. This showed that they had different ideas about how to live their lives. Industry veterans who saw them work together said they were both tired of each other's antics, with Eastwood saying that Penn's sudden intensity was bad for the collaborative nature of filmmaking. Costume designer Deborah Hopper, who worked on projects with both actors, said that Eastwood once said Penn's style was too much drama for drama's sake, meaning that the younger actor's way of doing things created unnecessary tension that got in the way of the production's natural flow. Penn, for his part, is said to have asked if Eastwood's old-school Hollywood style could handle the complicated social and political issues that Penn thought were important for worthwhile movies. The biggest difference between the two stars was how they felt about being famous and being responsible as an artist. For example, Eastwood kept a low profile and let his work speak for itself. Penn believed that artists should be advocates and used his fame to support many causes. Because of this basic difference in how they saw their duties as public figures, they kept a professional distance that many people in Hollywood called respectful but cold. Maker of Scott Rudin once said that both men were deeply dedicated to their work, but their approaches to finding artistic truth were completely different. The fight between Clint Eastwood and Barbra Streisand was caused by two famously controlling personalities who were used to having full creative control over their projects. In the 1980s, Hollywood's elite social circles were full of stories about their professional disagreements, which were caused by their fundamentally different ideas about how movies should be planned, developed, and made. Army Archer, a longtime reporter for Variety, says that Streisand's extreme attention to detail in every part of production, from lighting to costume design, was very different from Eastwood's preference for trusting his team and keeping things running smoothly. It became especially clear that there was stress when both were considered for high-profile projects that needed strong leadership. Eastwood is said to have been annoyed by what he saw as Streisand's micromanaging, saying that her involvement in every creative decision slowed down the natural flow of work for film director Ray Stark, who worked with both legends. It was later found that Eastwood had once said that Streisand's way of working turned every artistic decision into a committee meeting. Streisand's friends and family said that Eastwood's way of working didn't have the attention to detail needed to make truly great movies. Their different ideas went beyond just different production methods and included how they worked together as artists. Eastwood created an environment of trust and delegation that let department heads do their best in their own areas of skill. Streisand wanted to be involved in all artistic decisions because he thought that a unified vision needed centralized control. Film Comment said that this basic disagreement about creative leadership led to professional conflict that was like two directors trying to run the same movie, according to several people who worked together. The tension at the heart of the film was a reflection of larger questions about artistic power and the balance between teamwork and a single creative vision. Robert Niro. There was a lot of tension between Clint Eastwood and Robert Niro because they had very different ideas about how to prepare for roles and how to let their natural acting come through. Niro was known for doing a lot of character research and method preparation, while Eastwood believed that acting should be instinctive and natural. According to Film Comment, their professional disagreements became clear at industry events where they talked about their craft, with Eastwood criticizing what he saw as over-preparation that killed the life in a scene. Director Martin Scorsese, who worked closely with Niro, later said that the actor often seemed confused by Eastwood's minimalist approach, seeing it as possibly too surface-level. Niro's camp allegedly questioned whether Eastwood's instinctive method could achieve the psychological depth needed for complex dramatic roles. On the other hand, Eastwood said that too much planning led to fake performances that were not real. Irwin Winkler, a director who knew both legends, said that their styles showed two different eras of American acting. Niro showed the intense psychological realism of 1970s movies, while Eastwood showed classic Hollywood's faith in natural charisma. There was a lot of tension because people were wondering if great acting needed a lot of work on the inside or just being honest and natural. In front of the camera. Jack Nicholson. Clint Eastwood and Jack Nicholson's relationship was a rare clash between two of Hollywood's most powerful personalities. Both were used to controlling every scene and project they worked on, and their fights, while less well known than others, were caused by professional jealousy and different ideas about how to be on screen. At industry events and award ceremonies, where both men's larger-than-life personalities sometimes created an awkward atmosphere of rivalry, their tension was clear. People who worked in the industry said that Eastwood got annoyed with Nicholson's habit of stealing scenes with theatrical flourishes and unpredictable behavior, such as unprofessional showboating. Producer Robert Evans, who worked with both actors, said that Eastwood liked working with others to be professional, while Nicholson liked creative chaos and stealing scenes. They had a big argument about whether acting should serve the story or highlight the performer. They were also competing for important roles and relationships with major directors. Costume designer Anthea Silbert noticed that both men wanted to be the center of attention on set, which made things awkward when they ran into each other. The tension came from deeper questions about fame and artistic duty. Eastwood liked working with other actors, while Nicholson liked being a wild card in the movie. George Clooney. There was tension between Clint Eastwood and George Clooney because they were from different generations and had different ideas about Hollywood's place in social and political debate. According to Variety, their philosophical differences became clearer when Clooney became more active in activism while Eastwood took a more quiet public stance. Their disagreements were rooted in larger questions about the responsibility of celebrities and the proper use of artistic platforms for political messaging. Industry sources said that Eastwood thought Clooney's approach to combining entertainment and activism could be harmful to the craft's integrity. Jerry Weinrob, a producer who worked with both actors, said that Eastwood liked to keep his personal beliefs separate from his professional duties, while Clooney saw his platform as inherently political. They also had different views on how to deal with the media. Clooney wanted to get attention for causes, while Eastwood wanted to keep his privacy. Their different approaches to making movies also caused professional tension, with Clooney's collaborative socially conscious projects being very different from Eastwood's more traditional storytelling styles. The fight raised bigger questions about how Hollywood has changed over time and whether younger filmmakers are following or rejecting old film practices. People who write about movies said that their disagreements raised important issues about art politics and the duties that come with having a big impact on culture in modern America. These legendary fights show how dedicated Hollywood's greatest artists are, showing that creative differences often come from strong beliefs about the craft itself. While Eastwood's disagreements with these other legends highlight basic disagreements about acting technique and artistic responsibility, they ultimately show the variety of approaches that have made American movies better. Each tension tells a story about how movies have changed over time and how dedicated these artists are to their own idea of what cinematic truth is. Sign up to get more behind-the-scenes stories of Hollywood's most interesting rivals. Don't forget to like the video, share your thoughts in the comments and subscribe to stay updated with our latest stories.